Hello everyone, welcome to EE101 channel, sharing industrial and news about residential and commercial PV inverters. This is Rachel. Today we are going to talk a topic that will the environment temperature influence your inverter efficiency? It's well known that inverters are semiconductor-based electronic products are sensitive to heat and low temperature. They work better and are vulnerable to power loss and damage at high temperatures. Although the semiconductor components themselves are heat resistant at present, the inverters adopt two methods of cooling: natural cooling and fan cooling. Low power module many use natural cooling, and medium and high power module are basically fan cooled. When the inverter converts DC power to AC power, heat is generated. This heat will be transferred to the ambient temperature of inverter shell. Temperature needs to keep below a certain level. Above the level, material in the inverter will begin to degrade, insulation will become brittle, solder will expand and crack, and the metal parts in the capacitor will be fatigued. In that case, it will not only affect the efficiency of the inverter, but also shorten service life. Even in Australia, where the temperature environment is milder, there are still some areas where the maximum temperature can reach 40 degrees in summer. And with heat emitted inside the inverter, the ambient temperature of inverter is usually higher than the local natural temperature. Just like when you cook in your kitchen in summer, you will feel that the temperature in the kitchen is higher than the temperature of other rooms of the house, because the inverter itself is also a heat source. To keep heat low, the inverter will stop generating electricity or derating through the system to notify the inverter's brain, which is also known as temperature derating. The power is reduced gradually, and in extreme cases, the inverter will be completely turned off. Only when temperature drops back to a threshold value, the inverter will return to the optimal working state. As early as many years ago, the inverter will begin to derating at 25 degrees. With the continuous innovation of technology, the current inverter can do 40 degrees before starting to derating. And the inverter with excellent quality design may not begin to derate until at night at higher temperatures. So how can you know if the inverter is derating, or do you need to worry about inverter load reduction? Derating is actually more difficult to see because the load reduction parameters are not written on the parameter table, and sometimes they are drawn in a corner of the menu. So you need to know the following. 1. The inverter should not be installed under direct sunlight or unventilated room. 2. How many days a year can temperature in the area you live will reach more than 40 degrees, and if this number of days is small, then don't worry too much about those power losses. In the case of cold weather, the power generated by the inverter is more than rated power, which also makes up for some losses. Maintain a minimum clearance between adjacent inverters or other objects specified in the installation guide. 4. Most inverters begin to derate between 40 to 45 degrees. So if the inverter is installed under the roof and night side or under the solar module, those help the inverter to maintain a state of basically no derating. Let's take a look at the derating curves of several different brands we know. SMA didn't do as well, and Solis and HNS did very well. However, what is surprising is that I found that all H Energy single-phase grid connected inverters with a rated power of less than or equal to 3 kW can still work at full rate at 60 degrees. which can almost be said to never derate, because the temperature above 60 degrees is not exist unless there is a fire, and there is no place on earth where the daily temperature can reach such a high temperature. So I was puzzled why they could perform so well, and it turned out to be related to the design of the structure. The inductances of ISMA and the other brands are mostly built in, and H Energy put it outside of the housing, reducing the impact of inductances hitting on the machine. This change is really clever. Of course, Solis also adopt such a design to reduce internal heat, but from the derating curve, Solis' performance is not as good as H Energy. Then it must be the difference in internal structure design. The inverter you buy may look really beautiful in appearance, but whether its internal organs are beautiful and neat does affect the performance of the inverter. The internal structure is reasonably arranged, and the heat dissipating components are installed around the internal device that are prone to heat, which can effectively and reasonably reduce the heating situation of the inverter and more stabilize the performance of inverter, so that the inverter still maintains excellent output under extreme temperature conditions, while ensuring their installation conditions. The smaller the inverter, the shorter the peripheral distance requirements. Take H Energy for example. Only 150 mm is needed on the left and right side of inverters, which of course means that heat dissipation is better, and the same area can install more machines. Because it's installed outdoors, the protection level of the inverter must reach IP65 or even IP66, which can prevent dust, rain, that spread corrosion, and adapt to the harsh external environment. But in places with serious pollution or dust, it will affect the function of the heat dissipation, because fine objects such as dust, leaves, and sediment may also enter the air duct of the inverter, which will also affect the power generation and service life of the inverter. In order to improve the actual service life of the inverter and maintain the maximum power generation efficiency, on the one hand, it's necessary to create a great operating environment for the inverter to protect it from the wind, sun, and rain. And on the other hand, regular inspections should be carried out to keep the heat dissipation smooth and avoid over temperature decreasing and other faults. After watching this video, you will see that the environment temperature actually affected the performance of inverter, but it's not a very big issue. Even it's not a big issue, the lower temperature decreasing performance, the inverter has premier choice of your own solar system. So that's all. Welcome to comment after watching this video, and follow us on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you.